Good to hear that you're doing well. I'm sure my mic is a little bit low because I just touched it a minute ago. And I normally don't touch my mic settings. That's probably where my mic settings need to be. That's the normal spot, right about there. All right. Let's see. It looks like my stream health is good to go for once. Thank goodness. So I will go ahead and start this little bit of an update for those of you watching. I didn't want to record this like a normal vlog kind of thing just because I don't know, just doing something different. So let me turn on some light. That might help. There we go. It's amazing the difference light makes in photography and video. It says I'm visible now. Perfect. All right, so let's do this here update. So some people have, especially in the community, the online forums, have been talking about their working from home, workspace, all that good stuff. Ever since all of this stuff's been started, I've been trying to figure out a better flow for me. Not that it was a problem, because I'm used to working from the house. That's pretty much all I've done for most of my professional career. But moving here, I never quite got it right with the setup in here, and it still could use a little more tweaking, but I'm just going to leave it as is for now until I feel that I'm pretty much set. But anyway, this is an update. From the last time you saw this video, I did the whole vlog style, and I showed the office and whatnot. You can go back. I'll put a link to it right there, I think. Yeah, right there. And you can see that video. Right now, what I'm working with is basically that same setup, but I moved some stuff and I've added some things. So the first thing is this desk. I moved the desk forward closer to my door, just a little more than I want to. But the idea was I wanted to create some depth behind this camera right here. And prior to moving it, I still had some depth, but I think this just looks a little bit better having some more depth. You know, so you got a nice lens there and you get a semi-shallow depth of field, and that just looks better. Lighting changed slightly. I went to a larger, well, not a larger, I went to a smaller octabox. Well, it's not an octa, parabolic softbox. It's not an octa, but I went to a semi-smaller one, and I have another really small one in comparison. Let me see if I can show it to you. Hey, Mr. Rhodes in the house. So let me see if I could show this one. So that's the other light. That's my main key light, if you will. And that is the main camera right there. And if you notice, the camera is sitting on top of this interesting tripod with a monitor. That's because that's a teleprompter. And I use that for time to time for recording my shows. Don't use it all the time, but it is nice to have that. Got that teleprompter set up from work. My good old Twit family, if you will. All right, so that's two main updates. The other part is I have decided to go with a better overhead setup, something that I can make a little bit more of a semi-permanent standpoint. So if I wanted to switch to another camera, let's say like this one here, I think this is it, right? Nope, that ain't it. This is it. There we go. But now I have this overhead shot here. This is something semi-permanent, but if I need to move it, it only takes me 10 minutes tops to move it. And I think this is something that's going to work for me as far as being able to do my product reviews and just sort of hold the product in my hand, whether I'm holding it in my hand like this in front of the camera and trying to focus on it like that, but it gives you one more dynamic view if I want to do it this way and show it to you. I can still hop on over. Let me see how I do this. There we go. I can hop on over and show my desktop computer this way with just a shortcut key on the keyboard. And if I want to go back to this camera here, I just go back to that camera like that. And when I want to go back to my other camera in front of me, I just hit that button and I'm there. Camera wise, you noticed a second ago, I had this camera in my hands and I was able to show the key light that's right there. And the way I'm able to show that is because it's plugged in with a USB and goes into the computer, and I'm running SPARKOCAM, and the SPARKOCAM is going into my software that does all of the recording and the streaming and stuff like that. And when I want to switch to that camera, I just do this here. I have to use a mouse this time. I just do that. So if I feel like it, I could take y'all with me, pick this up like that, show you. I still have my junk wall over here. This is still, well, you can't hear me because the mic is over here. So even though I moved, you couldn't hear me, but I fixed that too. Let me show you. I fixed the mic stuff. At least for now. It's probably going to change and I won't do this ever again. Now you probably hear me on this lavalier mic, and it looks like it was running really hot. So let me turn that down. There we go. So I probably came in real loud. Sorry for blowing your ears out. So that allows me to stand up, take that other camera, switch to this view. I can walk around, show you the junk wall with all of the products and stuff that I'm still working on. Most of the products are out of the boxes. I got to keep the boxes so when it's time to ship them back, I can ship them back without a problem. And this is a wider shot of the studio. Again, that's the key light. And this is the overhead rig on the C-stand, the key lights on the C-stand. Main camera 1 with the tripod, teleprompter. And then I have this light stand right here where I will put a reflector on it to help give me some bounce on the main camera to bounce that key light and give me a little bit of fill on my face. All right, so now let's walk over here just a touch and try not to tangle my cables. Background. All right, let's check the chat. Anything in the chat? Great lighting. Cool, thank you. Background. You see I still just stuck a monolight back there just to give it more depth. Tripod back there just to give it more depth. And I changed the backdrop. I went to the Westcott backdrop because it's just simple, easy to put it up and just sort of leave it there. And I think it looks better than having the blinds behind me. I still get a lot of light coming through because this is white and not black, but I did not want black. I want it white so I could use it for other stuff. And then I also have one more light down there on the floor. Let me see if I can turn it on. There. So I got the one more light on the floor. And that's Mr. Josh Rice. How you doing, brother? So this light on the floor will light up the background. But typically I don't want to use it that way with the just with the reflector on there. I'd rather put some gels on. So that's what I've been doing recently. Let me see if I can show you that. That's better. So now I'm going to sit this here on the floor. I got the light mounted on top of a Platypod. I don't know if you've ever heard of Platypod, but I'll link to Platypod. But that little stand right there is so versatile. It's basically a flat tripod, and I don't necessarily have to worry about it falling or being on the floor and overheating or anything like that, because it's off the floor. The fans got plenty of airflow and all that good stuff. All right, now the mic is still the same. I just moved the mic arm over just a little bit. Let's see, what else? Oh, I said I'd show you the gels, so hold on, let me switch the camera over to show you the gels. Okay, let's sit that down. Now these, for those that don't know, these are gels. You put these in front of your, I'm talking into that mic like that mic's hot. These are gels. You put them in front of your light, and it gives you a nice little color cast. It's probably not going to work for this light because this light is huge. Yeah, it just gives me a little bit. But what I decided to do with them is to put them on that light behind me, that floor light, and it'll give me it'll give me a little bit more depth in the scene. So watch what happens when I put it on this light. Check out this mono light right behind me. It'll get a different color cast, and again, it'll just give you more depth in the scene. So hold on, let me show you. There. So now, yep, that mic was a little hot. Sorry about that. So now, if you look back there at that light, right there, it's got this little bit of a green cast on it, and it don't look great right now because I've moved crap again. But if you look at some of my last couple podcasts, you'll see that they are lit up just a little bit in the back. All right, I'm going to switch this mic off, this lavalier mic, and go back to my regular mic. No, that's okay. I'll just ask you if you have any questions. I'm checking the chat now. As far as this mic, this lavalier mic, I don't know how long I'll go with this one, but we'll see. Keep up the refinements and learning new techniques. It always makes a difference. Oh, thank you, Mr. Rhodes. Appreciate that. The biggest thing, my whole approach with this stuff is I want to make it to where when I walk up in here to get to work, I literally just want to sit down. I'll flip a switch to turn on my mics. I'll flip a switch to turn on the lights. And then I'll flip a switch to turn on my mic. Oh, see, I didn't even show you that, my video switcher. Okay, so is that just for the lighting, or you can use the backdrop as a green screen? As far as the backdrop, if I want to use it as a green screen, I definitely need to get a green backdrop or a blue backdrop and have it lit properly, or else it'll get a lot of spill and the chroma key won't look very good. I have no intentions of doing green screen, even though I could if I just put a screen up there. But chroma key is such a headache. It ain't worth it for what I do, and that's not really my style. I mean, I'm sort of a what you see is what you get person, so I don't really have the desire to do the green screen and stuff like that. It is what it is, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, let me show you real quick the other thing. I forgot about the video switcher. So let me see, I have to switch this camera on. Actually, I probably can just use the overhead. Let me see if I can do the overhead. So let me move the keyboard out of the way. Video switcher. But as I was saying, I just wanted to be able to sit down when I get in here, and the computer is already on. So all I want to do is turn on my audio, my mixer. That's just one switch. Turn on the lights. That's just a remote. And then turn on my video switcher. That's just one switch. So that's 3 different things I get to do, and it's just a couple clicks, you know. But this switcher is way more stuff in it than I need. Even though some of the stuff in it ain't that good, in my opinion, but I figured out a way to make it work for me. This is the Roland. Can I move this over a little bit? There. So this is the Roland VR1 HD mixer. Man, Canon up in here. What's up, brother? Hope you safe over there in Florida, man. This is the Roland VR1 HD. I got this for free. It's part of the press. Just disclose that. Most of the stuff in here is mine with my own money or something I got from work that I'm using. But this is definitely from press, so I'll disclose that. Anyway, that out of the way. This is used for video production, like if you were in a production house doing a bunch of multicam stuff. This is for 3 camera inputs, and they all connect on the back with an HDMI port. And then it has a USB connection to go to your computer, and it also has an HDMI out, so you can monitor what you see. You can also connect up to 2 microphones over here. I believe it's 2. Yeah, it's 2 microphones, XLR, and you can mix them and match them up or whatever as far as the audio mix goes. This is good for live streaming because you're doing this connects to your computer via USB, so it pushes the signal out. And I'm streaming using my streaming software, but this is controlling the video inputs of my streaming software for the most part, with the exception of this camera here. That's handled with SPARKOCAM. And that's just the DSLR plugged in via USB. But this and this is handled through this Roland thing that I'm looking at right now. All right, but this is really nice. It's got all of these little picture-in-picture settings that you can use. From an audio standpoint, I haven't played with it yet because I have a mixer over here to my left that I'm pretty happy with. This is an old Behringer 1204 USB Behringer, and the thing just works, and it's USB, so I haven't really played around with the Roland's audio stuff. But it does feature, if you connect the mics to it, it'll do auto switching. Like if you assign, let me go back to this screen. So if you assign camera 1 to mic 1 and camera 2 to mic 2 in its software, when those voices or sounds pick up on the mic, it's supposed to auto switch to camera without you having to sit here and hit 1 and 2 and stuff like that. It'll auto switch it, and from what I've seen, it's pretty fast, but I haven't tested that yet. I did play around with some of the picture-in-picture settings on a couple episodes of Hands-On Photography. As far as the actual audio latency, there is a bit of latency, but that's probably because of how I got this set up, because I'm going from a mixer into the computer into streaming software that you're looking at right now. So what I had to do was go inside of the XSplit streaming software, and I dialed back my audio. Well, I didn't dial it back. I changed my audio latency to about 200 milliseconds, something like that. So that way, when I'm speaking, it's not out of sync versus what you see on the camera. Hope that answered your question, Mr. Rhodes. It's good to see y'all. It's always the same cats in here, and that's hits me right in the feels. Thank y'all. I think that's it for me. Again, the main thing was, like I said, I wanted to be able to get to my desk and sit down and have everything right here at an arm's reach without having to go through a bunch of fuss. I've even changed out my keyboard. This is not my favorite keyboard, but it's wireless, so it helps being wireless. Working and reading is what Mr. Ryan is doing. But yeah, this is a wireless keyboard. I've even put some gaff tape on it so I can have my hotkeys ready for when I'm doing stuff with my stream or with my my show. Because typically, like I'll show you now, typically when I'm recording, say, hands-on photography, I'm talking to this camera, but then I want to show you something inside of Lightroom. I just hit a hotkey on the keyboard without looking down, and it takes you straight on over to showing Lightroom. And it also shows this picture-in-picture. Oh man, Hugo, what's up, brother? The Canadian brother, what's up, man? Good to see you. I ain't seen you in a long time. But yeah, that's why I have the gaffer's tape on my keyboard, just giving me a little bit of a easier way to see where I need to hit my keyboard shortcuts to change the camera, to go from the main camera to go to camera number 3, which is going to be looking out the door. So I'll do that. So it's looking out the door, it's looking over there, it's looking in front of me. That's a little bit of inception. And then I go to the computer screen, and you'll see Lightroom and a little picture-in-picture inlay of myself. Canon says he's been looking at the A10 Mini. Canon, that is a hell of a product, and that is pretty much what this thing does, the Roland. It's pretty much what the Roland does. The Roland costs way more money, and I don't think it should. I think it's overpriced. But yeah, if you're looking at the A10 Mini, look at that one, but don't look at the Pro. From what I've been seeing, there's some things on the Pro side that aren't really there, but you're paying an extra price for it. So just stick with the Mini. One of our guys at work, he just got his, and he wasn't too happy about it. And then Lou Maresca, he's another host for This Week in Enterprise Tech. He got one. He got his delivered yesterday or today, something like that. Let's see, how many cameras are you switching right now? I have 4, but right now I'm only using 3, because I have this is a C910 Logitech webcam. I've used that from time to time to give a wide shot. The only problem is I can't get that color temperature right. With these other 3 cameras, I can dial in the white balance and color temperature pretty close. I mean, it's really hard to tell them apart. You really have to pixel peep to tell them apart. But yeah, I'm switching. I have 4, but I'm only using 3. I'm using camera 1, and I'm using overhead cam right here, and then I'm also using is it this one? Yeah, I did it right. This one, camera 3. I'm going to switch back to my other mic. So now you should have the studio quality sound coming out of my pipes. So Hugo, you've heard the same thing. Okay, yeah, it's really no point paying an extra $400. It's just, if it's going to do pretty much the same thing as the regular one, just get the regular one. And a lot of people, they're buying that A10 and then they got like an Arduino or a Raspberry Pi and doing some other automation with those built in with their setup of the A10 and stuff. You'd have to talk to Mr. Alex Lindsay about that stuff. He's really good at that. Mr. Star Wars guy. That man knows his stuff, and he's so cool. All right. Any other questions before I get out of here? It's good to see y'all. It's good to see that y'all had questions and just following along my little boring journey. But people have asked, and I said I would share the little bit of update. So now it is officially on the record. I added a different, I put a smaller parabolic softbox as a key light. I've moved my desk forward about 1 foot, maybe 1.5 feet. I moved it forward to give me a little more depth behind me. I added a floor light to add to the depth behind me. I intend, and this is probably for another month or 2, I don't know, it won't be anytime soon, so I ain't got no money, but I intend on getting some sort of overhead lighting behind me to give me a bit of another, like a shoulder light or a hair light. I don't have hair, but you know what I'm saying, just something to give me a little bit more separation, and that'll be something that I could set up again that's pretty permanent. It says, what about battery powered mic? Are they good? It depends on the mic, because there are some that are good. The ones that are battery powered to sit on top of your DSLR, is that what you're asking? It's quite frankly, if I'm using a shotgun mic like this one here that's on top of this camera, if it's up to me, I don't want those to be battery powered, because that means you got to turn the switch off every single time. And from my own personal experience, there's been a lot of times I'd gotten finished doing a vlog or something or whatever, and put the camera down and come back the next day, or if I'm shooting an extended vlog during the day, I put the camera down and do what I need to do, pick the camera back up and start recording, and I don't have any audio because the batteries are dead because I left the switch on for an hour or two. I don't recommend battery power. If you can get one that's got the power that's coming straight out of the port, go that route. I have a link in this video description to a mic that does that from Rode, and it works really, really well. So click that link in that video. It's an affiliate link, so it'll give me a couple cents commission. And then another thing to consider, some people, for whatever reason, think the shotgun mics are going to sound like one of these studio mics, and it's not even close. The shotgun mics that you put on top of these DSLRs are really good. They are much better than the internal mics on the camera, but they're never going to sound like a studio mic unless you spend, you know, almost $1,000. And if you're doing that, you're probably getting a boom mic and you got a external recorder and stuff like that. That's my 2 cents on that. I could show you the reflector. Let me do that. Okay, so is your boom arm any special? Yeah, this is a grip arm. It's funny you asked that. That's perfect timing, Hugo. But this is what's called a grip arm, and you typically see these on top of what they call C-stands. Now, this particular grip arm, I'm putting it on top of a regular light stand because it has what's called grip heads. That's what these are. These little knuckle things are called grip heads. And it allows you to put, you know what, I can just do this. This is a grip head, and it allows you to run a grip arm right through it and tighten it down. It allows you to mount this on top of a C-stand or a light stand. Hello, Abinash. Thank you. I appreciate that. Keep watching them and keep spreading the word. Thank you. But yeah, you can put these on a light stand, which is what I do with this one because I can hang a reflector on there, which I'm going to show you in a second. And you can also get other little pieces like this here. Like this piece right here, to put extra lights on top of it. You can just mount an extra light on there and just make sure it's screwed down nice and tight. Or similar to what's going on right up there is another boom arm and grip head. Well, grip arm and grip head is right up there on this camera, and the camera has a little spigot, a smaller spigot than this one. This is what they call a baby grip head. Well, not a grip head, a baby tip. And I have a spigot up there that's basically something that you can screw a tripod head on, and you screw the tripod head on there, mount your camera up there, lock it down, and it's there. It's secure. It ain't going nowhere. You know, here, just show you. It's a lot easier to just show you. Turn this camera on, hit this hotkey here. There, it's right there. You see, you got grip arm and grip head. And that's a tripod mount or a tripod ball head. And then it's got this little spigot right there. And it's pretty easy to set stuff like that up because it's on a C-stand. And C-stands are really, really heavy, really, really strong, but they're easy to move around. Much easier to move around than regular light stands, in my opinion. Okay, but anyway, I wanted to show you the reflector. Thank you, Joshua. So I'm going to put this on my light stand that's over here. And this is a smaller light stand. It's not a C-stand. So I'll sit this here. And then it's tightened down. And then I have just a general reflector inside of here. Because if you look at me here on the screen, I have this beautiful key light hitting me right there, but then there's this shadow that's normally on my face. Right now it's lit up a little more because of the sun outside. But I take this reflector and open it up like that. Take another grip head. This is another grip head. Put it on the end of this mic boom or boom arm, not a mic boom, I'm looking at a mic. And then just tighten it down. So now, watch my face here. You'll notice it's dark, but as I slide this reflector in, this side of my face will fill in with a little more light from right there. Okay, so, well, it might help if I raise it up. It's on the floor. There. That's where it normally is. It's normally up high like that. And then I just sort of pull this in. Of course, it's on camera. You would never see this on camera. But you see the difference if I turn that away. There's a shadow here. With the reflector in, the shadow goes away. And you have to sort of fine tune it and tweak it. Make sure you're getting decent bounce, but you don't want this showing in your frame. Like you can see it right there in the frame. Now, there's no reflector on me. And now I got a reflector. And it just fills in my face a little bit better. I don't do that all the time, depends on the mood. But that's grip arms, that's light stands and C stands. And I should probably do a show on those, huh? That might help y'all out, right? Should I do a show on light stands and C stands? He says works. Joshua Rice says work really well with aluminum foils as reflectors. Yes, I have a couple different reflectors. For this setup, this is probably my favorite one because it's so easy. And it's not terribly big. I have a really big one that I love, but this is really easy for, again, I wanted my studio setup to be, I literally just walk down and hit a couple switches and I get to work. I don't have to think about a bunch of stuff. That's the most effort that I have to do nowadays as far as my setup is just deciding if I want to put a reflector up or not. And some days I don't. I really didn't need it today because there's the sun shining behind me. Depending on when I shoot, I get sunlight coming in through that back window. But most of the time I do try to block that out. Just me, because it keeps it cooler in here. Okay, so one comment says yes. Another comment says yes, do light stand show. Okay, I'll get to that eventually. It'll be a couple weeks, I promise, but I'll do something about light stands, and I'll do something about light stands and something about C stands because they're different. And when you're doing C stands, you really have to be careful from a safety standpoint because C stands are heavy and they can fall over and they can break some shit and you can hurt some shit. So be careful with C stands. So I'll do that. And also, if you haven't invested in gaffer's tape, get you some gaffer's tape. Always comes in handy. Gaffer's tape and Velcro. All right, any more questions before I get out of here? Good to see you, Abinash. I hope I'm saying your name correctly. Good to see you, Canon, and Mr. Hugo, and Mr. Rice, Mr. Ryan. Who else been in here? Mr. Rhodes. Good to see all of you. It's time for me to call it a day. I'm hungry. Gaffer's tape? Nope. Gaffer's tape is not duct tape. Duct tape is very similar as far as like size and durability. But gaffer's tape, when you tape it onto something and you take the tape off, you don't get the sticky residue. Works really well with taping down mics on people, taping down like I have tape on the floor for when I do standing videos. I'll raise the camera up and I'll raise my desk up and I tape down some spots on the floor so I know where to stand, so my focus is good. and it's just real easy to peel it up. So gaffer's tape, GAFFER, gaffer, because gaffers are people that work with, on a studio set, they work with the power and the lights and making sure the power coming out of the lights are good and they're bright enough and stuff like that. Gaffers and grips are people in a studio. If you haven't seen this yet, I'm gonna give him a plug. Mr. Rick Salmon's book. He's such a really, really nice gentleman, hell of a photographer. Check out his book. He sent me a copy because he's cool like that. Thank you, Mr. Salmon. All right, that's going to do it then. You all take care. Safely create, because I know some people still have all of these orders, and you better be listening to those orders about COVID-19. Be better people than some of the people that are around us. Our world needs it. I appreciate you all amplifying the message that I have shared about civil injustice. And yeah, keep doing you. Thank y'all for watching. And I'll catch y'all eventually. I'm still on a bit of a autopilot on social media. I just send shit out. I try to stay away from it because it's pretty depressing over there. Okay, turning the lights out. It's just hot. I will see y'all later. Thanks again.